The organization Preservation New Jersey released its annual list of the 10 most endangered historic sites here in the state. News 12's Brian Donahue paid a visit to one of those sites. Millions of people pass each year, but few notice.
If you're one of the 2 million beachgoers who pour into Gateway National Recreation Area at Sandy Hook every year, you pass, right near the park entrance, a forgotten, decrepit place that tells a uniquely Jersey story. It's called the Sandless House, the last remaining structure of what was for 75 years the Highland Beach Resort, started in the 1870s as the first excursion day trip resort on the northern shore, with bungalows and nightclubs, beaches and bathhouses, shops and amusements that brought tourists first by steamboat, then railroad, and then by car as the decades wound on. Highland Beach is literally and figuratively the northern beachhead of Jersey Shore tourism, which has shaped the culture and identity of the state in so many ways. And the Sandless House, where the family of Highland Beach founder William Sandless Jr. lived for generations, is all that's left.
It's part of our national coastline story. In the late 1800s, or even in the mid 1800s, resort culture started to build all around our nation, wherever there was a beach or there was water. And this was part of that story. It's the national treasure.
Susan Sandless Gardner, granddaughter of William Sandless Jr., lived in the house. Her stories could fill a book, and they do. Her book, Sandy Hook's Lost Highland Beach Resort, tells of how her grandfather built the house from the timbers of the roller coaster, built here in the 1880s.
So my grandfather was a master craftsman in carpentry and woodworking, that sort of thing. And he wasn't going to waste any wood. So he used the wood from the roller coaster and built the Sandless House.
Highland Beach lasted until 1961, when the state took the land through eminent domain to create the park. Prospects for the Sandless House are grim. Supporters started a nonprofit organization to save it, and the Park Service will give them the house if they move it. That would cost millions. Farther out on Sandy Hook, Brian Samuelson has restored this duplex among the decaying homes of Fort Hancock's Officers Row. He runs them as vacation rentals under a lease agreement with the U.S. Park Service and would love to do the same with the Sandless House, but it's not part of the leasing program.
We can save that property for future generations, for everyone, for our children's children.
And so, what hurricanes and time have not yet done, the morass of bureaucracy and deprioritization seems poised to do: erase this piece of New Jersey history, until all that's left are the postcards and photographs. I'm Brian Donahue. That's Positively New Jersey.
Man, I love seeing those old photographs. Hopefully they'll save the house somehow, but adding to the complications of doing just that. The Sandless House is owned by the state of New Jersey. It sits on land controlled by the federal government.